I was bolting the TC105X's back onto the GR86 when I found out the front wheels didn't spin freely and I had made a huge mistake.
Shit.
Due to my initial excitement with mounting the wheels, I neglected to see if I had any rubbing issues. Turns out the lower spring seat was actually touching the tire. This is evidenced by the black paint rubbing off. This caused a 1mm deep groove to be cut all around the length of the sidewall. Since I was able to push the GR86 around, I assumed nothing rubbed, and was a huge oversight and massive fail on my part.
I initially tried getting away with just using 3mm spacers, but they still rubbed. So that forced me to stack both spacers to make it a 6mm, which worked. This requires the use of extended lugs from ARP. Manufactured in Ventura, California, they're made in USA.
Since I was awaiting the spacers for the fronts, I tackled the rear studs first. These are all 2.5 inches long. Tools I needed were a 14 and 17mm socket, 3/4 drive and large washer, spare lug nuts, ball joint removal tool, 15/16 socket, 8mm by 1.25 bolt, and a 12mm by 1.25 tap and die set for the threads. I actually needed 17mm wrenches to remove the bolts. This allows the caliper to be safely moved aside. 8mm bolt to remove the stuck rotor. Ball joint remover to knock out the stud. Loosening the 4 axle hub bolts allows you to sneak in the ARP studs. 3/4 drive socket and lug nut to wrench the stud home. 63 foot-pounds for the axle hub bolts, and the T caliper bolts to 81 foot-pounds. As for my lug nuts, I just drilled them to make them open-ended. This allowed me to save a bunch of money as these were nice lug nuts to begin with.
Alright, finally got my spacers. What the heck are these? You gotta be kidding me.
I got sent 4 lug spacers by mistake. The fronts needed a black paint marker for the lower spring seat in a 19mm socket. To start, I removed the 12mm bolt, which frees up the brake line. This allows you to move the caliper to a safe location. Replacing the front studs is much more simple than doing the rears because you don't have to loosen the hubs at all. It's pretty much the exact same steps. Keep in mind though, the very best way to install extended studs is by using a press. Pressing the studs is a lot more work, but you have minimal chance of destroying the wheel bearing or damaging the threads. I torqued the 2 caliper bolts to 100 foot-pounds, bolt for the brake line to 20 foot-pounds. Titan Wheel Accessories had rushed me some new spacers, but I was still anxious to see if these are the correct ones I needed. Would they deliver or would they let me down? As you can see, I was ecstatic that the correct spacers came in. After days of waiting, I was so happy to finally correct the rubbing issue. For best results, repeat all these steps on the opposite side. Will the wheel and tire freely spin? Great success. If these didn't fit, it'd be another delay and the waiting sucks. Although the wheels pushed out ever so slightly, it doesn't look too bad. It's just one of those things that you have to solve when running wide tires. Everything clears from the back and hopefully no more rubbing. These Titan aluminum spacers are really high quality. There is a chance that they'll send you the wrong spacers, but I still recommend them. Here are the OEM studs from the fronts with corrosion already setting in. This is on a GR86 with only 228 miles. It's a good idea to replace them as soon as possible. Well, that's it for us. We're Rallis Productions. Catch you guys later. Oh, and if anybody needed 5mm 4x100 spacers, they're on Craigslist.